What if a civilization did not see science and spirituality as opposites? What if the quest to understand the atom and the quest to understand consciousness were part of the same journey? Today, we embark on an exploration into Sanatana Dharma, often referred to as Hinduism, not merely as a religion, but as a living knowledge tradition. A tradition where inquiry into the cosmos, the body, the mind, and ultimate reality unfolded simultaneously. Sanatana means eternal, not in the sense of being old, but in the sense of being continuously relevant. Dharma does not simply mean religion. It means the underlying order that sustains existence. Sanatana Dharma is not a fixed belief system. It is an evolving civilizational dialogue between observation, experience, and realization. Sanatana Dharma is often misunderstood as a collection of rituals and beliefs. But when observed closely, it reveals itself as a highly refined way of living, one that aligns the human body, the environment, and cosmic rhythms into a single integrated system. In this tradition, festivals were not random celebrations. Rituals were not mechanical repetitions. Food practices were not merely cultural habits. Each carried a deeper logic: biological, environmental, seasonal, and astronomical. Life itself was designed to move in harmony with nature. Take, for example, Makara Sankranti, celebrated when the sun begins its northward journey, marking the transition of seasons. This is not simply a religious observance. It corresponds to a shift in solar movement that affects climate, agriculture, and human metabolism. Traditional foods prepared during Sankranti, such as sesame and jaggery, are rich in iron, calcium, and healthy fats. During winter months, the body requires warmth and internal nourishment. These ingredients generate heat and strengthen immunity. The celebration is cultural, but the logic is seasonal physiology. Consider Navaratri, observed at the junction of seasons, once before summer and once before winter. These transitional periods are known to weaken immunity due to environmental changes. Traditionally, people observe light fasting, consume easily digestible foods, and reduce physical strain during these 9 days. Modern science confirms that seasonal transitions are vulnerable phases for the immune system. What was observed culturally aligns with biological rhythms. Or take Diwali, celebrated during the post-monsoon season. Homes are cleaned thoroughly, old items are discarded, lamps are lit, and certain antibacterial herbs are burned in lamps and rituals. After monsoon, a period prone to insects, dampness, and microbial growth, these practices naturally improve hygiene and environmental sanitation. Even the lighting of oil lamps has functional aspects. Sesame oil and mustard oil produce mild insect-repelling properties. What appears devotional often carries environmental logic. The simple act of applying vibhuti, sacred ash, or tilaka on the forehead is not merely symbolic. The area between the eyebrows corresponds to a major nerve convergence point. Applying mild pressure or cooling substances like sandalwood paste stimulates this region, aiding focus and calming the nervous system. The practice of sitting on the floor and eating with hands is another example. Sitting cross-legged naturally engages core muscles and supports digestion. Eating with hands activates sensory nerves in the fingertips, signaling the brain to prepare digestive enzymes before food is consumed. Even the greeting, Namaste, joining palms at the heart center, is not merely cultural politeness. It avoids physical contact in crowded societies and stimulates pressure points in the hands. Fasting, observed on Ekadashi and other lunar days, is often dismissed as religious austerity. Yet lunar cycles subtly influence water bodies, and the human body is largely water. Periodic fasting gives the digestive system rest and promotes metabolic reset. Many such practices were embedded into daily life, not as commandments, but as rhythms. In Sanatana Dharma, food is not separate from health. The concept of ahara in Ayurveda emphasizes that diet must align with season, age, and body constitution. Cooling foods in summer, warming foods in winter, bitter herbs during monsoon, fermented foods to support gut health, turmeric, ginger, cumin, coriander, common kitchen spices are today recognized for their anti-inflammatory and digestive properties. The kitchen functioned as a pharmacy long before modern pharmaceuticals existed. Daily routines were aligned with solar cycles: waking before sunrise, exposure to morning sunlight, early dinners before sunset. Temple architecture was aligned to cardinal directions. Agricultural practices followed lunar calendars. Even sleep patterns were influenced by seasonal daylight variation. Ancient Indian life was not random, it was rhythmic. These people were not primitive. They were deeply observant. They studied patterns of seasons, stars, soil, breath, and consciousness. Their intelligence was ecological. They did not see humans as separate from nature. They designed life to move with nature. So when we say Sanatana Dharma is a scientific way of life, we do not mean it contained modern laboratory formulas. We mean it was structured around observation, experimentation, and pattern recognition. Its festivals aligned with seasonal biology. Its rituals supported psychological and environmental balance. Its food system supported preventive health. Its architecture aligned with climate and orientation. But this raises a deeper question. If their daily way of living was so refined, how advanced were they in structured fields of knowledge? How accurate were they in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, architecture, and consciousness studies? What kind of intellectual framework produced such integrated living? Now let us explore, subject by subject, how this civilization developed knowledge systems that made such a harmonious way of life possible. Did you know that the concept of zero, without which modern computing would be impossible, was formalized in India? The decimal place value system, developed by Indian mathematicians such as Aryabhata and later Brahmagupta, transformed global mathematics. The Sulba Sutras, dating back over 2,500 years, contain geometric principles used to construct Vedic fire altars. These texts include early forms of what is now known as the Pythagorean theorem, centuries before Pythagoras. Geometry was not abstract. It was applied in ritual architecture. Mathematics was not separate from spirituality. Ancient Indian astronomers calculated planetary movements with remarkable precision. Aryabhata proposed that the Earth rotates on its axis, long before this was widely accepted elsewhere. Texts such as Surya Siddhanta describe eclipses in mathematical terms rather than mythological explanations. The lunar calendar, planetary positions, equinox cycles, all were carefully studied and integrated into daily life. Festivals were not random dates. They were synchronized with celestial rhythms. Today, neuroscience studies meditation. Clinical psychology studies breathwork. But thousands of years ago, the yogic tradition systematically mapped the mechanics of the human mind. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras outline a precise framework: control of thought fluctuations, regulation of breath, pranayama, neurological stillness through concentration. Modern research now shows that meditation alters brain structure, reduces stress hormones, and improves cognitive function. What ancient yogis explored through direct experience, modern science is now measuring with instruments. Ayurveda does not treat disease in isolation. It views the body as an interconnected system, influenced by environment, diet, seasons, and mental state. The concept of the three doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, represents functional bioenergetic principles. While not identical to modern physiology, Ayurveda recognized gut health's influence on overall wellness, circadian rhythms, seasonal adjustments in diet, preventive healthcare over reactive treatment. Today, integrative medicine increasingly echoes this holistic model. Vastu Shastra studies the orientation of structures in relation to natural forces. While often simplified today, classical Vastu integrates sunlight direction, airflow, magnetic alignment, spatial symmetry. Modern architecture confirms that light exposure affects mood, ventilation affects health, and spatial design influences psychology. The ancient builders were not merely symbolic, they were ecological designers. Many traditional practices reflect environmental intelligence. For example, fasting days regulate digestion. Seasonal festivals correspond to agricultural cycles. Sacred groves preserved biodiversity. Ritual fires often used antibacterial herbs. Even greeting traditions like Namaste reflect hygienic wisdom, contactless acknowledgement. Cultural forms often carried practical layers. At the heart of Sanatana Dharma lies a profound insight. Everything is interconnected. The Upanishads declare, Tattvamasi, you are that. This does not mean literal identity with the cosmos. It expresses the idea that individual existence and universal existence are not separate. Modern physics speaks of quantum interconnectedness. Ecology speaks of interdependent systems. Systems theory recognizes feedback loops. Sanatana Dharma articulated this philosophical interconnectedness millennia ago. Sanatana Dharma does not view nature as a resource to exploit. Rivers are revered. Mountains are sacred. Trees are worshipped. While modern minds may interpret this symbolically, such reverence functioned as environmental protection. When something is sacred, it is preserved. The idea of dharma includes ecological responsibility. In many modern frameworks, science and spirituality are treated as conflicting domains. But in Sanatana Dharma, both emerge from the same quest, the pursuit of truth. Science asks, how does it work? Spirituality asks, what is its ultimate nature? Both are valid dimensions of inquiry. Sanatana Dharma never feared questioning. Debate traditions such as Nyaya and Mimamsa encouraged rigorous argumentation. Truth was not enforced, it was explored. As modern science advances, we increasingly discover that ancient insights align in principle with contemporary understanding. Mind-body connection, preventive medicine, environmental sustainability, psychological resilience, cosmic interdependence. This does not mean ancient texts contained modern formulas. It means they observed reality deeply and described it through their language of the time. Their insights remain relevant because they are rooted in universal patterns. Sanatana Dharma is not frozen in the past. It is a continuous dialogue. From sustainable living to conscious technology, from ethical leadership to mental health awareness, ancient wisdom continues to inspire modern solutions. The integration of spirituality and science is not nostalgia, it is necessity. In an age of fragmentation, Sanatana Dharma offers a holistic lens, where inner balance and outer harmony are inseparable. As we explore the profound depths of Sanatana Dharma, we begin to realize something important. It is not merely about rituals or beliefs. It is about alignment with nature, with consciousness, with cosmic order. Perhaps the greatest scientific insight of Sanatana Dharma is this: the observer and the observed are connected. The inner and outer worlds mirror each other. Sustainable futures begin with awakened awareness. The journey into Sanatana Dharma is not about returning to the past. It is about carrying timeless wisdom into the future. If this exploration resonated with you, continue the journey through our playlist and upcoming episodes. Until next time, let us keep discovering the scientific depths of Sanatana Dharma. Project Sanatana, a trusted space for spiritual knowledge, authentic spiritual products and guidance, rooted in Sanatana Dharma. At Project Sanatana, we study ancient scriptures to bring you authentic spiritual solutions, rooted in tradition, not assumptions. we offer authentic Nepali Rudraksha, carefully selected, tested, and guided according to traditional Shastra principles. Rudraksha combinations crafted for specific life intentions: health, stability, focus, protection, and growth. We also guide Rudraksha selection based on your Rashi, Nakshatra, planetary energies, and Ishta Devata, following authentic Vedic alignment. Along with sacred puja idols, Sphatika and green jade Shiva Lingams, created for daily worship and spiritual balance. This is not commerce. This is conscious guidance, offered with responsibility and devotion. Visit ProjectSanatana.com today and explore our spiritual products.